To get an accurate picture of your campaign's performance, it's important to let your search campaigns run for at least 2 to 4 weeks after you start seeing conversions. This allows enough time for the data to sufficiently average out so you can make the most accurate decisions. Once you've given your campaigns enough time to gather conversions, it's time to identify your best and worst performing keywords. To view the keyword performance of your campaigns, go to the keyword level by clicking Keywords, and then on the left you can filter by viewing these on an account level, a campaign level, or an ad group level. Let's start by looking at these on a keyword level for all your campaigns. Play around with the data to get a better understanding of the performance. Let's first look at how much each of these keywords have spent. To rank the keywords by any metric, you click on the top of the column you want to analyze. In this instance, we could click the top of the column of cost to rank the keywords by cost. The same applies if you want to rank your keywords by conversions. Click on the top of the column for the conversions and they'll be ranked by conversions. You can also filter by cost per conversion. If you click on cost per conversion, they'll be ranked from highest to lowest. If you click on the name of the column again, it will then rank them from lowest to highest. This is very important for metrics such as cost per conversion, as the lower that number is, the better. At the bottom of these columns, you're also given the totals and averages for each metric. If we look at the cost column at the very bottom, we can see that the total cost for all these keywords has been added up within your date range. It also gives you a total figure for all of the conversions you've received under the conversions column. But under the cost per conversion column, it will give you the average cost per conversion across all of your keywords. All of this information is what you should be looking at when assessing the performance of your keywords.
Now let's say we wanted to optimize this account. So this is the overview page, and we can use this for some insights, which is very useful, particularly down the bottom where it will show you, some of the biggest changes to your campaign, or conversion tracking status of your conversion tags, general ad group performance, and then some other performance. So this kind of gives you an example of the top bidding signals. So, devices and weekdays, 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. seems to be a very good part of the campaign. So this is all very useful information, and it's good to get across all of it. Though for the most effective optimization process, the best place to go is to the campaigns, and then go to the campaign level. Now, this is the campaign section where you can see all of your campaigns and all of their data. So just to give you a bit of a breakdown of how this works. So this is the graph, just to give you a bit of an easier way to visualize your data. You have two filters here for whatever kind of metrics you want to pull up for your campaigns, just to analyze those metrics better and easier. Now we have cost and conversions. Now these are the two we recommend, as these are the most often Now these two filters are selected because they are the most relevant. We have cost. We definitely want to make sure that we are spending our daily budget to get as much traffic as possible. So that's really important to have there. And again, we can just hover over it to see, how much our spends are going up and down by. They're also conversions, since the conversions metric is so important and what we'll be optimizing with to improve your cost per conversion efficiencies. Now there are a few. Now it will take some time it will just take some time and repetition for you to get familiar with this dashboard. Though probably the most important things to make sure is that you have the campaigns you want to analyze and the campaigns you want to analyze filtered here. Now at the bottom, we'll have the campaigns that we have enabled and their performance. So under the campaign type section, you can see what campaigns you have live. So we have a performance max campaign and a search campaign. Now, since we're doing keywords, we'll optimize the search campaign as performance max does not have any. Scroll over further and we can see a lot more metrics. Impressions, interactions such as clicks and engagement, interaction rate, cost per conversion, and conversions. Now, if we read this out, this essentially tells us that from $1,022.17, we've had 33 conversions at a cost per conversion of $30.97. We've delivered 1,914 clicks at an average cost of 53 cents. And we also had 15,882 impressions. Now, to get those clicks, our ads had to be viewed, so impressions were 15,882. Now we got 1.9 thousand clicks from that. So to get those 1,900 clicks, our ad had to be shown almost 16,000 times. Now our interaction rate or click-through rate is 12%, which is clicks divided by impressions. So from this, the most important thing to remember right now is that the cost per conversion, since we do have conversion data, which is great and quite a lot of it, that the cost per conversion is $30. So once we've established what the average of the campaign is, we can then assess the performance of the keywords and how each of them are performing. To do so, click into the campaign, and we'll then be taken into the ad groups section. Now we can see this graph has changed slightly because we're only focusing on the search campaign and not all of the campaigns that were enabled. So even though we're trying to optimize our keywords, it's important to look at the ad group level first, since these are where all the keywords are located. Now, what you should do here is scroll over and look for the cost per conversion column. Great, $30. So the objective right now is for us to try and identify underperforming keywords so we can potentially drop this cost per conversion below the current rate. Now there's two ways we recommend you to look for underperforming keywords. The first is to look at the cost per conversion column, because if we see that our average, which this bar here tells us for all the campaigns, the average and totals, so again we spent $1,022.17, 33 conversions, and a $30.97 conversion, cost per conversion. Now that's the same as the previous one because this is the total and the averages for everything within the campaign. And that applies to every layer you go to. So let's say we go to ads. It will also say that here, the exact total across all of them. Now let's go back to ad groups. So what we're trying to do first, we're trying to find keywords that have a higher cost per conversion than $30, because if we can pause those off, we can then give more budget to the better performing parts of the campaign. Now, the best way to do that is to rank your dashboard by the cost per conversion column. To do so, just click on the top of the column, and it will then rank them from the highest cost per conversion to the lowest cost per conversion. Now, if we scroll down a bit, we can pretty quickly see that this ad group here, Property Search NZ, has a very high cost per conversion compared to the $30 cost per conversion average we have here. That means that for every one conversion we get within this ad group, it's potentially costing us 4 to 5 other conversions elsewhere. So let's say we will pause this off altogether. Just by pausing the ad group there, we can then distribute that $133 to every other ad group and potentially get other cost per conversions that are much, much lower. This would then increase our total conversions for the same amount of cost, which is a core part of conversion optimization. Now, before we just go and pause off the ad group entirely, it's very important to see which keywords within that ad group are performing. So we've clicked into this ad group and we can see that there's no red line here, which isn't 100% necessary, but it's a good habit just to add conversions in. There we can see when they did happen. Okay, great, just the other day. Now, if we scroll down, we can see that there's 2 keywords in this ad group, one in phrase match and one in exact match, but the same keyword. Now, if we look over to the columns, we can see that Now, if we look over to the other columns, we can then see which keywords drove the better performance. Now, if we look over, we can see that the exact match keyword got the conversion and the phrase match keyword actually didn't get the conversion. And what's interesting about this is that the phrase match conversion spent $127 and got 0 conversions, while the exact match keyword spent $6.31 and got 1 conversion. Now, on face value, if we just paused off that ad group altogether, we would have paused off both keywords. Though since the cost per conversion of this exact match keyword is actually only $6.31, it's potentially the best performing keyword from a cost per conversion standpoint, potentially across the entire campaign, as the average is $30. So this is a very high value keyword that we do not want to pause off. What we have identified is that the phrase match version of this keyword is bringing in a lot more traffic that is not converting. So a quick and easy optimization we can do here is just go over to the left and then pause off the phrase match keyword. Great. And now that budget will be distributed more to the exact match keyword and every other keyword within this campaign. So it's always super important to dive a bit further into your analysis. Look at what specific keywords are converting, which specific keywords are not converting, and then optimize based upon that. Now, another way to look at the cost per conversion of your keywords is to view all of the keywords across all of your ad groups. So to do this, we're currently in the search keyword section. What we can easily do is just go up to the ad group filter and then click view all ad groups. We then have all of your keywords across your campaign in the one spot. If you have multiple search campaigns, you can also click view all campaigns, and then you can view all of your keywords across all of your campaigns. Now, what we do here is we scroll across, and just like before, find the cost per conversion column. See, now the cost per conversion average has actually already gone down to $27 because we paused off the underperforming keyword. Now, this is just an average for all the enabled keywords. So if we filter to all keywords, it'll go back to the $30 one. But if we filter just to the enabled keywords, we can see that the cost per conversion's already dropped, which is great. Now, just like before, we'll rank the keywords by the cost per conversion column. So now we've done that, we have all of the keywords ranked by cost per conversion. Now, the highest one here is a $47 cost per conversion. And the rest we can see are quite lower, which is awesome, which means we have quite a big range in cost per conversions. Now normally I wouldn't necessarily just pause this off because it is a higher cost per conversion than the average. And the reason being is that performance does fluctuate. You might get one more click tomorrow, and then if you get a conversion, that will halve the cost per conversion. And then it's actually on target. If you just pause it off, you might run into spending issues as you don't have enough keywords to get clicks. And your campaigns work a lot better when you have lots of variables to work with, and the algorithm can rotate to identify the best performers. So as a rule of thumb, you can ask yourself, if this keyword got one more click and converted, would the cost per conversion then be worth it? And the answer would be yes in this instance. So if we halve that, it's around $23 as a cost per conversion, which is less than the total average cost per conversion. So that is very good. Now, it's very important that you optimize the cost per conversion based upon what you're seeing in the platform. It doesn't matter if this business's ideal cost per conversion is $5 if it's impossible to get it right now. If we just paused off all these keywords, then we'd end up getting no conversions at all, and we won't be able to improve the performance. The best way to optimize your campaigns is improve your cost per conversion metric slowly over time. Now, another way to optimize your keywords performance is to rank your keywords by cost. Now, previously we were just reviewing all of the keywords that had converted. Though what you'll find if you rank your keywords by cost is that you're going to find a lot that have not converted. You can check this by looking at the conversions column next to all of these keywords. We can see that we got one conversion here, there's 0 here, 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 and here. So the top 5 keywords that are spending the most money have only gotten one conversion. Now it's up to you about how strict you want to be. If your keywords are very high value keywords, let's say you got one more click and then you did get another, let's say you got one more click and you did get a conversion and it cost you around $47. Now, you need to ask yourself and the business if you are happy with that. Maybe this keyword is very high value and the service and lead that you could get from it is very high. If so, then that's great and you might want to keep it here. Though if you can get the same quality lead for other keywords, where for instance we have one keyword here with a $17 cost per conversion, then it might be worth turning it off. Now keep in mind, every keyword you're going to pause off, you're not going to get any more traffic for it or any more leads for it, even if you're not getting any right now. So you need to ask yourself if you're happy with pausing that keyword off. Now these aren't way over the cost per conversion like the previous keyword was. That was $120 to $130 with no conversion, which is a very clear one we should pause off. These are kind of in between. Now, if we apply the same rule as before and it did get one more click and then it got a conversion at a cost per conversion of around $47, it is quite higher than the cost per conversion and it still wouldn't be worth it. So we'll go ahead and pause that one off. And same for the property price one, be around a $40 cost per conversion, which still is not worth it. The house price check, it is a bit lower, so we will still leave it in there, as if it got one more conversion, it's pretty much on the average, which is fine for us. Now, something interesting you might have found down here is that this keyword here has a 1.5 conversion. This means that, which most likely means it achieved one conversion by itself. So somebody clicked on the ad that keyword triggered, and then they converted immediately or very soon afterwards. And that was the only keyword that was involved in that conversion to get one conversion point. Now this 0.5 comes from data-driven attribution, where that keyword played a part in a conversion. So 0.5 means data-driven attribution has weighted it as 50% of the conversion, which means it was 50% of the reason as to why the conversion happened. Now the other 50% will be the 0.5 will be divided across the other keywords that were involved in the process. It might only be one more keyword, it could be two more keywords, whatever it may be, the 0.5 will be distributed across the rest of them based upon the weighting that data-driven attribution has determined that they played in contributing to getting that conversion. Now let's go refresh this page. And go back to the cost per conversion column. And we can see all of a sudden the cost per conversion for the keywords selected is all the way down to $24 on average. So in theory, we've already improved the performance just from pausing off a few underperforming keywords.